What up, though, people? It is your boy Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, and you know we got to talk about this Pistons 122-119 win over the Golden State Warriors at the buzzer. I think we got the return of Saddiq Bey. I'm telling y'all, listen, over the last 10 to 15 games, he's absolutely been lighting it up from three, and we're going to get into it a little bit later. But first, we got to recap this game, all right? Obviously, Cade Cunningham didn't play. Marvin Bagley is out on the Pistons side of things. Of consequence, on the Warriors side, Steph Curry didn't play, but they still had a pretty big and a pretty good cast of players that came to play on the home court for the Golden State Warriors. Now, this is a good win for two reasons for the Pistons. Why? One, it's always good to sweep, to get two wins, let alone sweep the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors. I'll take that all day, every day. Now, listen, number two, why is it a good win? Because some of these trends we're going to get into from the individual players like Killian Hayes and Sadiq Bey, the positive trends, they always feel better and more validated, punctuated when you get a win rather than these stats coming in losses. As well as in this game in particular, they found a way to win it down the stretch in crunch time. All right. They've had some issues with that this season. They've lost some games that we know they should have won. Whether we thought it was due to youthful experience or if we thought it was due to rotation issues or game plan or a mistake here and there or the wrong turnover at the wrong time, they've had problems, especially without Cade Cunningham, who was one of the better clutch players in the league last year. But let's get into these stats, and then into the breakdown. The Pistons, again, 122-119 over the Golden State Warriors. They started off the first quarter hot, man. And then the Warriors, in their fashion, came right back and made it a battle. But this game was a good one from start to finish. It was physical. It was tough. They battled. And I think the thing that I liked most, especially between Stu and Draymond Green, is that these guys don't back down. They don't. They don't shy away. They don't back down. They're going to play through the whistle. They're going to play physical. I'm not advocating for anybody to hurt anyone. I'm not doing that. But every Detroit Pistons team and every Detroit Pistons winner, at least, let me put it that way, and this team is talking about restoring to that. They've played tough on defense. Period. They've played physical on defense, and they've even told the line so much so that the league has had to change the rules. So it's good when I see this team exert any aspect of that effort. Now, do you want to see that scoring down a little bit? Maybe, but the pace is so high. The 3-pointers were flying. It was just offensive goodness. But yeah, so it's good though to see this team get out and beat them. I want to get into the box score, the team score here, the hustle stats. 9 to 3 steals for the Pistons, 11 offensive rebounds to 9 for the Pistons over the Warriors, and the 3-point percentage. Man, they hit 44.4%. I do want to see them get their free throws better. They got to get that free throw percentage up. That's been something of a concern. They've actually lost some games and had some games go to overtime because they could not hit some free throws. And so that is a little bit concerning. You want to see that get better. But as you see here, the Pistons have been getting to the free throw line. They've been getting some free throw attempts, and they've been getting a pretty decent whistle. We can't state that the refs are the reason why the Pistons are losing at all this year. Just earlier in the season, it was a weird way that they were being roughed. But since then, over like the last month or two, the trend has been that these guys have been getting to the free throw line, and how they've been called. Obviously in this game, the Warriors on their home court, 20 personal fouls, man. 20 of them boys. And they shot less free throws than the Pistons as well. Moving on to the box scores where I want to get into things. Let me get the logo out the way here. Hey, look, for Bojan Bogdanovic, call him Mr. Sizzle, 29 points. But what I really like is 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He's been finding ways to do a little bit more than just score. Does anybody know what his career high in assists is and what year? It's this year. Right now, he's currently averaging his career high in assists at 2.6 assists a game. Now, there's nothing to write home about, but it does show that there is improvement and a decided effort on Bojan's part to try and play make. And if you look over the recent stats, he's even got more than those 2.6 assists, more like what he's shown tonight. And so I want to continue to see him do that. I put in the New Year's resolutions for the Pistons players. You can go back and look at that on Woodward Sports, that I want to see Bojan Bogdanovic over improving his defense. I want to see him improve his playmaking. I think that would take his offense to an even greater game at setting up not just his ability to score, but also his teammates' ability to score off of passes from him. He's going to draw a lot of attention. Beef Stew, like I said, he set the tone defensively, and he set the tone from a physicality standpoint, along with big Jalen Duren, 18 points, 11 rebounds, for the center, man. And what I love about him, I love that got him and Killian Hayes right next to each other because of the budding pick and roll chemistry that these two are starting to develop. I absolutely love it. To start the season, that was a point of concern for me. This team just, with Bagley injured, just didn't have too many pick and roll plays designed. And it was because Durham was still learning, still getting acclimated, still learning how to use his body, still figuring out how to box people out and seal people out on those picks and rolls. But to see him now and to see that connection with Killian Hayes, who we know is a master playmaker, got the big 13 assists in his return tonight. And Jalen Durham was a big part of that. It's good to see them getting this chemistry. And I know when Cade Cunningham comes back next year with the level of playmaking he has, you like Cade Cunningham's playmaking, right? Tayshaun likes it too. Tayshaun likes his playmaking as well. Yeah, but with the level of playmaking he has, it's only going to be bad things next year. And I mean that in a good way. Moving down here, though, Jaden Ivey, he continues to be a player who his scoring has been a little bit more down as of late, but he's continued to stuff the stat sheet and contribute in other ways. And I saw the stat that showed he's at a slightly better pace his rookie season than Russell Westbrook did, but the stats are very, very similar, even down to the shooting percentages. And that's not a bad comp. That's not a bad thing at all to be compared to a former MVP. Irregardless however people see Russell Westbrook today, I like to see that Jaden Ivey is contributing in many different ways out there on the court. And we had to save kind of Saddiq Bey for last. Alec Burks, another one of those guys who is going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So when they do, similar to Bojan, you want to see if they can stuff the stat sheet. When he comes in off the bench, Alec Burks is playmaking. Alec Burks is getting scrappy on the boards, and Alec Burks is scoring. That's what he's doing. And it's good to see he's hitting at 15 points, 4 and 4, and he's also getting to the free throw line, something that he and Saddiq Bey both do well. But I wanted to see how these guys would mesh because Saddiq Bey went to the bench to get his usage rate up and to get more shot attempts. It was separated from Bojan. Then Alec Burks came back from injury, and we said, whoa, he's a bucket too. So it's good to see these guys starting to have good games together. This is a game of, like I said, validating the trends. And then move on down to Sadiq Bay, 17 points. But what's good about those 17 is those two big three-pointers that he had at the end of the game within the last minute and 30. I absolutely loved it from him. It shows that Saddiq Bey, irregardless of his role, irregardless of his position, is staying ready all the time. That's what he's doing. And the stats back that up. I want to get into, the Warriors here first. So you see Steph didn't play. Jordan Poole, though, man, the Michigan product. Shout out him. Go blue. 24 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Heck of a night for him. And he continues to prove himself. Klay Thompson, 30 points on the night. 30 points, man. I like to see what Klay Thompson is doing. He continues to be more than a guy who's just coming back from injury, more than a guy who's trying to prove he can play. He's Klay Thompson. He's just Klay Thompson. He's back. Largely Draymond Green did Draymond Green things, man. 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 points, and just tried to be a pest all night. Even got a technical, got into a scrum with Beef Stew. It's almost inevitable that those guys have to. Almost like, if we haven't gotten into it in one game, then did they even do their job? You know what I'm saying? So it was good to see that, to mix it up. And obviously the guys off the bench, Anthony Lamb, Ty Jerome did that thing as well. But, hey, the Pistons took this home largely because of Killian Hayes and Saddiq Bey. With Saddiq Bey, I want to talk about him. He starts seasons over the first 3 years of his, being in the NBA slow. Shooting numbers down, 3-point shooting down, and then that volume and those percentages start to ramp up as the season goes on. And we're starting to see the return of Saddiq Blaze here, 40.5% over the last 15 games for Saddiq Bey. And it's not like he's hitting, just shooting 1 or 2 attempts a game. No, he's hitting over 2 attempts a game. That's what he's making. He's shooting over 5.5 three-pointers a game. That's huge. These are the trends that we love to see. And that's why I said, and wins is when these things really, really, really start to matter. And you want to see them matter. So Saddiq Bey, I want to see him continue to get those the numbers up. You would like to see his assists get up a little bit more, but if his role is to get to the free throw line, if his role is to shoot threes, if his role is to be clutched down the stretch, then you understand why it looks the way it looks. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. When I look at this aspect of Saddiq Bey, you see a guy who, if they're asking him to score 25, he can get to 25. If they're asking him to kind of just fill in spots and shoot a lot, volume threes, he can shoot some volume threes. Look at the box score here. He has games of 5 threes taken, 8 threes taken, 11 threes taken, 10 threes taken. Saddiq Bey is showing that he can just be the Swiss Army knife of a guy, irregardless of where you put him, irregardless of the position. And as long as he continues to trend in this direction and his shot continues to improve, his footwork continues to get him into the middle of the paint where he can do some work and get to the free throw line, then Saddiq Bey is a player that is a plus value for them, irregardless of if he stays on the team or if they decide to trade him. I hope long term, with where these trends are going, that he finds a place on this squad, though. So kudos to him. And I want to be able to talk about Killian Hayes really quickly as well, because we're talking about trends here and how wins help to further validate kind of what we're seeing out there on the court. And with Killian Hayes, hey, listen, to start the season, Jeff Iafrate of the Morning Woodward Show and Rod Beard of the Detroit News, the associate sports editor, former Pistons beat writer for them. Now Mike Curtis is in that role. Shout out to him. But we on the Woodward Pistons podcast to start the season and our preseason predictions, we stated we wanted to see Killian. We thought he could achieve that 10-5-5. And we kind of bumped it up like, we think, let's say 12-5-5, 12-5-4 type of a thing. So over the last 15 games, we know the historically horrendous, awful start that Killian Hayes got off to, where he was even averaging, I think, more rebounds than points per game at one point in time and more fouls than points per game at one point in time. Look at what he's doing over the last 15. I should have had his full, season stats up because he's raised those things up tremendously as well. But over the last 15, he's just at about that 12 points per game, 7.1 assists per game. He's playmaking at a really, really good rate without Cade Cunningham, without certain weapons, without certain pick and roll threats like Bagley in there, and with different and fluctuating lineups. He's still finding a way to be just Killian Hayes regardless. Tonight he played in his return confidently aggressive. These are the trends that you want to continue to see punctuated. These are the things that you want to see. Shout out Cool Cahill of Locked On Pistons. I had him on the podcast about a week or two ago, and he discussed the fact that, one of the things Killian Hayes needs to get better at, and I want to stamp that and reiterate this here, is you see that free throw column there. It looks mighty bleak. It's not the game that he plays, but you want to see him start to really be able to get into the paint and be able to finish, be able to get into the defenders. At 6'5", had a little bit bigger frame. He's added some muscle, got a little bit more muscular, bulked up a little bit, and he's getting to this point where the initial defender, especially on a pick and roll, is having a difficult time staying in front of him. Now, he's making great passes, so you're not going to harp on that. But there are times where I believe he's kind of overpassing, where he could have gone and scored or gone and tried to force contact on the play. And I believe that he has it. When he gets kind of upset and frustrated and mad, I've seen Killian kind of go out there and make plays at the rim. So it'll be good to see if there's one critique from him, to be able to just see that free throws go up. But, man, this is a win over the Golden State Warriors. You are not going to complain about that one bit. And it's just like, you know what, man? I just want one more time to just talk about these rookies. It's an awesome thing to see. It's really an awesome thing to see with Jaden Ivey continuing to stay, active across the stat sheet, irregardless of how the shooting numbers go. And you want to see him be able to add a mid-range. You do. You want to see him continue to work at that. He is working with Alec Burks at trying to further develop that mid-range. And then as it relates to Jalen Duren, it's like he's just been exponentially getting better since he's moved into the starting lineup. And for me personally, look, are there any Dragon Ball Z fans out there? Any Dragon Ball Z fans out there? Because for me, I'm just going to start calling Jalen Duren Jalen Gohan. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like in the words of Piccolo, it's like, whoa, where'd this kid get all that power? Like, I have no idea, but I'm glad to see it. Tayshaun, you like it too? Tayshaun likes it too, y'all. Tayshaun likes it too. But listen, man, overall, good win, good validating win to be able to punctuate some of these trends that we've seen from some of these, developing players, first year, second year, third year players in a season full of wins and losses. You want to at least know that full of losses, you want to at least know that these guys are taking the right steps forward. So listen, we got some more content on the way coming this week. I'm glad and happy that you guys continue to rock out for us. Again, for the Pistons, man, they won 122-119. Sadiq Bey with the buzzer beater, over the Warriors. It was an overall good feeling game. It was good to see them celebrate and really, really, really get this one on the road as well. It was a late night one too. So shout out to everybody who stayed up to watch. And hopefully they get hopefully they come out and do well over the next several games. You want to see them string together some nice wins. You don't want to see them just continue to go out there and they win one and then you lose 6, you lose 5, you lose 7. So their next game is Friday, January 6th at 8 p.m. they are playing the San Antonio Spurs, and then they play they come back home finally to play the Philadelphia 76ers Sunday at 3 p.m. So that's going to be a good game. I want to see Jalen Duren go up against his hometown 76ers again. I thought he fared interesting in the last game. He kind of got 2 fouls early and it took him out the game, and it kind of changed the complexity of how things went. I thought he still handled himself pretty well. So it'll be interesting to see. But listen, guys, for Woodward Sports, for Woodward Pistons, my name is Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. We're going to talk again, y'all. Till next time.